What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Tuesday, everybody. And we're just a week away from the start of women's college basketball, and I'm excited about it. In this show, we're going to talk about some of the things that you all should be expecting as we head into this new season. What's new, what's changed, what stayed the same. We're going to talk about all the stuff and that and a whole lot more on today's episode of Quita in the Morning, which starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully y'all are having a fantastic start to your day. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning. Anyway, let's get into today's show because I got some stuff I want to talk about, and let's just get to it kind of quickly. All right, so in women's college basketball, there's a lot that is new. We have the incredible amount of freshmen to come into college basketball and, have a lot of hype around them. A lot of new faces that we're going to be seeing this year in women's college basketball, including, Jazzy Davison, the number one recruit going at USC, right? Is she going to be the next Juju while Juju was out? It's a question mark. It's something that a lot of people are wondering, right? We got the likes of Sienna Betts now. While she is injured to start off the season, she is looking to have a fantastic season playing with her sister, right? This is a 6'4" player who can do a little bit of everything on the court, and someone who, once she is healthy and paired up with Lauren Betts, bets are off of what we can expect for the season. We have the likes of the hype beast, Aaliyah Chavez, having her start her reign in Oklahoma. The question is, what does that look like? How does Oklahoma run? You got Aaliyah Chavez. You got Reagan Beers. There's so much to look forward to for Oklahoma this year. And it's a lot of question marks of, okay, what are we going to see? And when we going to see it, right? We got Zakiya Johnson, who is looking like she might be a guard turned post player that is going to dominate at LSU, right? So many freshmen are coming into this season, and there's a lot of hope for several programs on how these freshmen can make an impact. But women's college basketball, it's not just about the newbies. It's about the changes that have been made. It's about the transfer portal, because that continues to be a thing that is just wreaking havoc on women's college basketball. You got Janiah Barker, who went from UCLA to Tennessee. You got Olivia Miles going from Notre Dame to TCU, to Nia Latson from Florida State to South Carolina. Mylasia Fulwiley from South Carolina to LSU. We got Sarah Williams, who went from Wisconsin to UConn. Cody McMahon from Ohio State to Ole Miss. So many changes we have seen during the transfer portal of where players are going. Talia Scott from Auburn and Baylor. Yarden Garzone from Indiana to Maryland. Again, so many changes. So many. Aluchi Akanwa from Duke to Maryland. Samaya Smith from LSU to Virginia. There's so many changes that we are going to be seeing this year. And so when you go to watch next week. You may be like, wait, where is this player? And you may find out later that, hey, the player that you watched last year that you enjoyed, that player is gone somewhere else. Like Jada Williams, who was at Arizona for a long time and now is with Iowa State. Kate Koval from Notre Dame to LSU. Right? So many changes. Avery Howe, USC to Washington. Players have made several decisions for themselves. Some are going for more playing time, and so they left in the transfer portal. Some are going for more money, so they left in the transfer portal. Some are just realizing that the opportunities on their current team won't favor them for the next level, and so they enter into the transfer portal. Or maybe it's a collision of a whole bunch of things. So many changes in women's college basketball. Gianna Neepkins from Utah to UCLA. When we talk about women's college basketball, we have to talk about the variety of changes. From freshmen to transfers to coaching changes that we've seen this offseason. There's tons of changes. But there's still some sameness in women's college basketball. We still see Asia Wilson sitting sideline watching the South Carolina game. We still see Paige Beckers in a UConn penny in practice. Now, she's not a player anymore. She's a practice player now. A practice player now. You still have some players who have stuck it out with their teams. Players like a Rory Hardiman or Madison Booker who have said, you know what? Let's run it back in Texas. Players like a Michaela Williams and a Flau'jae Johnson who said, you know what? This is our year. Let's go at LSU. The likes of Kiki Rice and Lauren Betts saying, this is our moment in time at UCLA. Let's not go anywhere. Let's stay and let's build. You got the likes of, one of the most notable things that I wanted to talk about is the fact that, you have a UConn team that is back, right? You win your 12th NCAA tournament championship, and it feels like you're back like you never left. A return to what used to be, right? So many changes, but yet a sense of consistency, a sense of renewal, a sense of excitement for what comes next in women's college basketball. Yeah, Molly, you have a brand new Ole Miss team, but with a familiar leader who is going to go off this year. Y'all better watch out for Coach Yo. Y'all looking for a team in women's college basketball that you want to follow this year, a team that you want to cheer for? Add Ole Miss to that list. Because, this team is, this Ole Miss team, you better watch out. You better watch out. Because Ole Miss is coming to town. And they are going to be exciting. They're going to be disciplined. And they're just going to hoop. Okay? With a whole bunch of new players. Whole bunch of new players. And so, those are some of the changes that we have as we head into this season. So lots of new, lots of changes, and a lot of the same when it comes to the top teams in the NCAA. You have UCLA at the top of the pile, rightfully so. Remember last year how far they made it into the NCAA tournament. This year they're looking to not just make it to the Elite Eight, to the Sweet 16, to the national championship game, but to win it. And with the transfers they got, with the roster that they have, the incoming freshmen, they might just do it. They might just do it. We have the likes of South Carolina, a team that is always at the top of everyone's list. They are looking to remind people, regardless of if they got 10 players or not, they are dominant. And they're coached by one of the greatest coaches in women's college basketball. You have the likes of UConn just wanting to remind people that they are the defending champs for a reason. They are the best for a reason. You got Oklahoma, Duke, Tennessee, LSU, Texas, NC State, Maryland, UNC, Ole Miss, all trying to showcase how they didn't just change in the offseason, how they got better, and how they will move forward for the future. A lot of differences, a lot of changes, a lot of fun things that are going to be happening this year. And it's pretty exciting, I got to say. This time of the year is one of my favorites every single year. Because not only is it sweater weather, right? Not only am I having a chance to wear all the sweaters that I have in my closet, right? This is a moment where I am going to be glued to the TV because there's going to be hundreds of women's college basketball games on the same day. There's so much to watch, so little time, so many upsets that we may or may not see, so many narratives that are going to start writing themselves. November is where it all starts. November tells the story about who we're going to be talking about towards the end of the season when it comes to end of the year awards. The best player of the season. Those conversations are going to start in November. Who's going to win the NCAA championship? Those conversations start in November. The best point guard, the best power forward, the best center, the best shooting guard, the best small forward, all those conversations start in November. So, I just got to say, get your butt in a seat and watch these games. I'm excited because this is just a new change. A lot of new changes in women's college basketball, not just freshmen, not just transfers, not just coaches, not just those types of things, but also there are some rule changes that are coming to effect this year as well. What I would call significant amount of rule changes that are coming into effect this year. A significant amount where we will see challenges be more of a thing. Challenges are now officially a thing in women's college basketball. Right? This means that plays can be reviewed by the referees. The officials cannot actually initiate the reviews themselves, but teams can initiate a challenge. And fortunately for them, they will not be required to have a timeout to make a video review challenge. But if they fail the challenge, they will have to. It'll be a timeout, or it will result in a technical foul for an excessive timeout. Also, we will see the shot clock at 20 seconds. Set at 20 seconds when there is a dead ball. Players no longer have to tuck in their jerseys. Right? Players will be allowed multiple hot stove touches on stationary players holding the ball or on a dribbler. So that means you can kind of get your hands in there without getting a foul. The touches are going to be considered legal as long as they are not repetitive and do not affect the rhythm, speed, balance, and quickness of the dribbler. Women's college basketball is continuing to evolve. Yeah, Shamika, they don't have to tuck in their jerseys anymore. Isn't it a glorious day? Isn't it a glorious day? Shamika, one hand, hot stove touches is basically a one hand. Like you're defending someone, and they're in front of you, and then you're just kind of like, put your hand in, see if maybe you can get a steal. But the act of you getting your hand in there is not going to result in a foul unless it's not repetitive and doesn't affect the rhythm, speed, balance, and quickness of the player. So you can get your hand in there to try to steal the ball without getting a foul call if you make incidental contact, which is basically what this rule is basically saying, in my opinion. So changes that we have for this year's women's college basketball. And I just got to say, a question for you all. What are you most looking forward to for women's college basketball for the 2025-2026 season? What are you most excited about? What is the thing that is going to get you going from a basketball perspective? What's going to be the funnest thing that you see this year? Kay says you never speak about LSU. I feel like I speak about LSU a lot, actually. I feel like I talk more about LSU than a lot of college basketball teams. I feel like of all the teams in women's college basketball, I talk about LSU and South Carolina probably the most out of everybody. Now, if you say you don't talk about UCLA, you don't talk about Michigan, you're right. I don't talk about them as much as I should. But I talk about LSU quite a bit. Quite a bit, actually. Okay, there's some conversation about Paige Beckers. Okay. Teacher says less reach-in fouls for incidental little touches. Yeah, I think that's what that rule is basically trying to get at. Yes. Jasper says, if you're a team that likes to press, that new rule is a game changer. Sure, but you just got to make sure that you're not impeding the movement of the player. Freedom of movement is still a thing. And so, yeah. It'll be pretty interesting to see. Polo says, I wondered about that because my mind had her shirts untucked when UCLA played, and I kept thinking that someone is going to tell her to tuck it in, but no one did. Yeah, because it's no longer a rule. It is no longer a rule. I remember when that was, even when I was in high school, like that was a rule that like you just had to tuck in your shirt. Well, your jersey, and sometimes it's like, why do I have to tuck this in? Sometimes the jersey was like super long and like you really did need to tuck it in. But yeah. Tisha says that is funny. That one says you don't talk about LSU enough, and another that you do too much. Yeah, I know. I know. Polo says, yes, Quita does talk about LSU. There's a lot of LSU fans here on this platform. I got a lot of awesome people on the internet are LSU fans. A lot. And when I started the channel, like LSU was like, that was the team, and so I talked a whole lot about them. Okay. Henry says those exhibition games were a terrible standard. Here's the thing. The exhibition games, which in a lot of cases were just free games for like students and whoever was nearby to go to the games and enjoy it, they weren't supposed to be the most competitive games. For the lower level teams, yes, it was supposed to be a game that challenged them and whatnot. But for the bigger teams, the better teams, for like the real Power 4 teams, it wasn't really supposed to be a challenge. Now, we did see some challenging games of Power 4 versus Power 4, but for the most part, we saw blowouts between Power 4 teams and Division 2 teams, or very, very low-ranked Division 1 teams. And so that's a thing. It wasn't supposed to be competitive. And because we don't have basketball on right now, women's basketball is off because the WNBA season's over, we have probably obsessed over these exhibition games more than we probably should have, because it's the preseason. It doesn't matter. But I think we just needed to talk about something. We need to talk about something. And so we talked about these exhibition games, and yeah, I mean, I don't see the big deal of it. Of course, they're supposed to be kind of just easy practice types of games for these bigger schools. And for the smaller schools, this is supposed to be kind of a payday of sorts, where they can get a little bit of money to help fund the program throughout the year. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Glorified practice and a little bit of money to keep your program running. What's wrong with that? Now, there's a whole difference between having very easy exhibition games before the season starts and having what I would call a cupcake schedule once the season starts. And a lot of Power 4 teams have created a cupcake schedule for the regular season, which I don't love. I get it, but I don't love it. I feel like you have more of an argument with that than these exhibition games that really are, it's a fundraising type of thing. Like it really is. I don't see the issue with that at all. Henry says, why can't they organize competitive exhibition games? They have had some competitive exhibition games. Like, for example, didn't Maryland play NC State? Yeah. I mean, that was a closed exhibition game, but still, we have seen some competitive games against like for like teams. We have seen that. Nancy says exhibition also allows teams to raise other nearby teams in their state. Yeah. Like UConn playing, Southern Connecticut? Mel says the lower teams gets a check for their program, a win for them. It is, yeah. Teacher says exhibition games are glorified fundraiser practices. It helps the lower teams get revenue for their teams to keep them going. Yeah. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but it's actually very expensive to have a college team. Especially if you have a conference that is kind of spread out all over the place. Well, for the smaller, sort of lower level Division I schools, Power 4 schools, sometimes they might have, a lot of times their conferences are pretty close together, but still, sometimes they might have to get on a plane to travel to games, and that stuff gets expensive for your team. And so sometimes playing games that you know you're about to get blown out in, but you need to play them to just get additional funds to then be able to pay for some of your travels for conference. That's what you need. Sometimes that is what you need, just to continue to have your team go. Makes sense to me, right? Makes sense to me. And not only is this a thing where these players are just going and they're going to get killed and that's it, they're getting a lesson at what the best of the best looks like, right? This is a learning lesson for these players. Yeah, Nancy. Nancy says Southern Connecticut is a top-level Division II school, and they want to challenge themselves and see where they are against a top D1 team. Yeah. Of course, everybody knows you're going to lose, but how bad do you lose by? How can you get certain stops against them to say, you know what? If we could do this against UConn, now, yes, we got blown out, but if we could, prevent this post-entry pass right here against UConn, what could we do against teams in our conference, teams in our division, right? And so in some ways, maybe it could be a bit of a boost of sorts, despite the fact that it's a blowout. So you're making money for your team, your school. You are going against the best of the best. You're challenging yourself. You're trying to get better. And you get a trip out of it. Yeah, and the real competitive games are closed. Why? Because, number one, you don't want to potentially embarrass yourself before the season starts. And so the competitive games make sense that it will be closed sessions. Right? Need to know only, besides Talia Goodman, who just finds out everything. But everybody else, you're not going to really know. Why? Because, number one, these teams are playing against a certain level of competition, and they don't want the rest of the competition to really see what they got, and what they run and how they run. And also, they don't want the added pressure of, if they lose, having that be a giant thing. And so, yeah, we have seen some competitive games, but yeah, they have all been closed. Or at least the ones I've seen, or I've seen the results of, have been closed. Tisha says, why would a top team agree to a competitive game? It wouldn't be worth the risk of losing to an unranked team and then suffering in the rankings. Well, yeah, that's yeah. Yeah. That's a possibility. Oh no, El Kune says once Flage, Michaela Williams, and Malaysia Fulwali leave LSU, I think I will move on from them also. Why? Stay with your team, El Kune. Stay with your team. Stay with your team. Yeah, you can challenge calls. Yep, you can challenge calls. Yep. The Bean 9 says, I was at the Southern UConn game, and Southern has some shooters and group players. They did great considering. Yeah. I mean, again, considering the type of talent you going against, literally the defending champions. Now, of course, they don't have the same exact players they did last year, but still, this is a really good team. Best team in the country, right? Fun fact. So, somebody left a comment yesterday and was like, basically saying something like, we need to have a right counter for Quita, because I guess I say the word right all the time. And now I've been very cognizant about saying right today. I feel like I've said right, not including this like last minute. I've probably said right maybe 6 times already in the stream. I don't know. I gotta stop saying right so much. El Kune says I went to Syracuse. We aren't good, so I'm banned. Oh no. Hold on. El Kuna, you went to Syracuse? Okay. After this season is over, or I would say during this season, move over to Syracuse. Okay? And I say that because Syracuse for women's basketball is coming. It's coming. And so you better get on it now. Get on it now. That is what I got to say. Okay? Because I tell you, Syracuse women's basketball, they about to do something. Okay? That's what I got to say. Okay? I got to say that Syracuse is about to make some noise. Okay? That's what I got. So, yeah. Go to Syracuse. Go to Syracuse. Go to Syracuse. Now, of course, stay an LSU fan because here's the thing. If I'm a fan, I'm gonna just stay a fan regardless of what, if I'm a fan of a team, I'm gonna just stay a fan. Whether y'all good, whether y'all bad, I'm gonna just stay a fan regardless. Whether the player that I originally liked is gone or not, I'm gonna stay a fan. But yeah, as we go through college basketball over the next couple of years, I think Syracuse is going to get even more interesting. And so I would say be a Syracuse fan. All right? Be a Syracuse fan. I didn't go to a big school, so like, it didn't matter. Okay? That's why I don't have a team. All right. Thank you, El Kune. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be a fan of Syracuse. And yeah, if y'all attended a D1 school, especially a Power Four school, be a fan of your team. You know, be an alumni that's going to games and cheering on and all that good stuff. I didn't go to a big school. I didn't even go to a D1 school. So like, you know, for me, doesn't matter. I have zero zero. I have zero built-in loyalties to anybody. Okay. Um. Nancy says Coach Jack did awesome at Buffalo, getting to the regionals. She will bring Syracuse up. Yeah. Coach Leggett Jack, Felicia Leggett Jack. Hold on. Sometimes my memory. Is her name Felicia Leggett Jack? Yeah. And yeah, you're right, Nancy. She was a really good coach of Buffalo. Really, really good coach. And now she's at Syracuse trying to make something happen. She had Deasia Fair, who was her consistent, kind of like top-notch player at Buffalo, and then went over with her to Syracuse, and now Felicia Leggett Jack. She's trying to build something special with a new crop of players for Syracuse. And yes, is Syracuse going to be the best team ever? No, but I do think they're a team that's going to continue to get better and better as the years go on. And I just got to say, just watch them. Now they're in a tough conference, They're in a really, really tough conference. The ACC is a tough conference without a sort of like main go-to player in Deasia Fair. But she's gone, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Clemson is making some noise as well. Because they just got a top-notch recruit to commit to them for next year. Yeah, Trinity Jones is going to Clemson. It's a big, 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 big get for Clemson. We'll see what they continue to do as recruitment continues for next season. But we're talking about this season in this stream, and so yeah. Anyway. Polo says, yeah, Quita, it's different when you go to a D1 school, especially like LSU. Yeah, I'm sure if I went to a D1 school, I'd probably be a huge homer for that school. And so, yeah. Olivia says, same, went to a D3 school, not good at basketball, but great at lacrosse. So that has to count for something. Yes. It counts. It counts for sure. The B9 says, I went to a UConn game before they won their first championship, and I was in middle school. Wow. That was a long time ago. Says, my knees hurt. That's how old I am. That is hilarious. Hey, you're older but wiser. Okay? You're older but wiser. That's what it's all about. And you can say, I witnessed UConn before all the championships. Like that's pretty cool to say. That game, I mean, do you even remember like what that like did UConn win that game, and what did younger, very much younger Gino Auriemma look like? And coach like? Does he still seem like the same exact coach as he was when he was a whole lot younger before the championship started? It's pretty cool. Nancy says, my first Final Four was 1995. Man, UConn versus Tennessee. I had to go every year since. So excited, man. Nancy, I tell you, I really enjoy Nancy in the chat because Nancy has seen a lot of stuff and has rocked with women's basketball longer than some of us have been alive. Like I just think it's so cool. I think it's really, really cool for the OGs of women's basketball fandom to be rocking with us, and us all coming together. It's like the older folks, the sort of middle folks, the younger folks, like everybody all come together enjoying this game of women's basketball. Like I just think it's awesome. Like I love, truly, I love the community that we have built together. Like I just think it's so fun. It is so fun to see the community that we built. The B9 says, I don't remember. I was more concerned about the banner contest my middle school basketball team entered and lost. Oh no. Oh man. Yes, we have to do a meetup. Yes, and whoever is going to Las Vegas for the Thanksgiving tournament, I will be there. So let's connect, okay? Let's connect. Olivia says Nancy needs a segment. Yes, Nancy does need a segment. Yes. Nancy needs a segment. Because Nancy is always here and always talking about the previous days of women's basketball. And I love it. But yeah, Nancy does need her own segment. Okay. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta get to work. Y'all have a good day. It's just another day talking about women's basketball. I think it's really fun. And I just really think it's awesome, the community that we built of just hanging out, talking about women's basketball every single day. Maybe there's a whole bunch of news happening. Maybe there's not a whole bunch of news happening. Either way, we gonna be here every morning and we're gonna chat. Okay? All right. Anyway. Let me find my exit. I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set.